Dave Barney, on behalf of Bodyguards United Presents. I'm here tonight with Hayley Gripp. I spoke to Hayley for the first time yesterday, which was probably pretty awkward for her because I just sent her a random message out of nowhere. But basically explained who I am and what I do, and immediately upon our conversation, I realized we had the exact same mindset and we're at the exact same journey, and we're trying our hardest to get here in Canada. So I'm really excited to help her expose her story and share it and help her get the awareness here in Canada. So thank you for coming, Hayley.
Yeah, no problem. I'm very grateful to be on the autopsy. Maybe we should explain what the autopsy actually means. Yeah, because you
I
almost scared me off there.
I kind of expected that would be a case with you when you bluntly brought it to my attention, and how the name can be very intimidating, if you will. And I
Well,
gave
what am
you
I supposed to think? I mean, you could maybe just on your side of the end, maybe you're gonna have like be in an autopsy room. I wouldn't know. I'm in
who
I'm
knows?
in America. I don't know how things work in Canada.
I wear a lot of hats, so that is a safe assumption. However, like I said to you last night, the reason why it's called the autopsy, for reason number one, it rhymes with Dave Body. Simple, it's catchy. Bada boom, bada bing. The second reason is because it allows me to interview people and find out their backstory and find out who they are from the inside, and I help them bring that out so people better understand them as a person and as a backstory and as an individual. Therefore, that's the autopsy. Please relax. It's nothing too invasive or intimidating, as apparently you felt. So I apologize for
I
that.
did not feel that way. All I asked was why it's called the autopsy.
It's all good. So, with our discussion last night, we talked a lot about your backstory. We talked for, oh geez, over an hour and a half, it seemed like. And I was immediately enticed to give you the opportunity to share your story about living with Tourette's syndrome and battling that, and your current events and your acting career and how you got there. And so, as you were growing up, did you have much experience with bullying at all with relevance to your Tourette's?
I'm so sorry, but you just froze like the last 10 seconds. Do you mind repeating it?
Oh, of course, not a problem. With your Tourette's, did you have any situations or instances within your school about being bullying, maybe from the teachers or from your students?
Yes, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome at age 10, and it was almost as soon as I had a label that I labeled myself, the bullying got worse. Middle school was a living hell for me. I'm sorry for saying hell on broadcast. But my desk at school, which I was there 7 hours a day, was my prison cell. My teacher was my jail warden. Part of the thing with Tourette syndrome is, along with having Tourette's, you have other things like ADHD, ADD, OCD, anxiety, and little things like you can be forgetful sometimes. And they actually, at this middle school, forced me to use a locker. And a locker would create stress because I would be like, oh my gosh, I have to get this book out, that book out. And they refused to let me just carry everything in my backpack, which would have made things a lot easier. So maybe twice a week I would forget something and have to ask to go and get it because it was just so stressful. And so my teacher began to say, and bring me up in front of the class and ask the class, what do you think Hayley forgot today? And she did this every single day, even if I didn't forget anything. And the students would actually raise their hands, and they'd be like, oh, I think Hayley forgot to do her homework, or I think she forgot her spelling workbook or something. And it was really hard because this teacher also encouraged the students to bully me. Because she was not tolerant of being different, she made sure that the other students were not tolerant of other kids that were different. And, it was really difficult. It got to a point where I dealt with it every day. I was very unhappy. Imagine nobody talking to you all day long unless it's to, like, insult you. It was very, very lonely. And then we did a writing contest, and it actually included over 2,000 different 7th graders in Los Angeles. and I won the writing contest. I'm kind of a pretty good writer, if I do say so myself. Um, and I beat out 2,000 kids, and it was a respect life essay, and we had to write how we show respect in life. So I told about how I volunteered at a battered women and children shelter and how it's impacted me and the tolerance for others. And because I had forgotten to bring an extra copy, and I said, when she asked me in my copy, I said, I'm so sorry. And I said, can I call my mom at the office and she'll bring it at lunch? She proceeded to give me an F, even though I won. And just because I didn't bring an extra copy. And this was 100 points of my grade, and I had an A in the class. And so when she did this, my mom, who taught at a different Catholic school across the city, actually went to the head, like archdiocese, and fought it and got it overturned, because she was doing something where instead of grading off a gridlock, you know, for all the pointers that you do, she was actually grading based off her opinion. When this happened, this is when my mom realized she was bullying me. And I can still remember I would come home every day and I would just do my homework, and I was kind of like an emotional zombie because I wasn't happy. I remember I had a friend, but she was at the last school from kindergarten to 8th grade. I was at 4 or 5 different schools just because of the bullying. It was so horrible. And it wasn't until high school when I kind of came into my own that I was actually happy. And so even though I dealt with bullying in, you know, mostly middle school, there was a few more bullies in high school, but because I surrounded myself with, you know, a small group of friends, and I ended up doing theater and loving it and falling in love with acting and loving my school and throwing myself into the great projects and schoolwork and everything, the bullies didn't matter. And at 16, I decided to fight back positively on bullying, and I went to Washington, D.C. and got something called the IDEA Act passed, and it's a bill to prevent teachers from bullying students with disabilities. And from my experience in middle school, I could have never trusted another adult in my life because my teacher abused that trust. But I instead chose to make a difference for any other student in my position.
Which is very honorable, and I will say that the bullying in itself for anyone is very stressful and intense, but when you get bullied for something that you, at that time, I don't think you really knew much about Tourette's, you just knew that you were diagnosed with it. So how was it going through being told that you were Tourette's, that you had it, and then getting bullied for it? That must have been a lot of mental strain for you. How did you overcome that?
Well, actually, I was diagnosed at age 10, and I was in middle school. This happened when I was 12 and 13. So I did know for a couple of years of what Tourette's was. So I was completely aware. And actually, so the teachers and principal were aware as well. And so that's the really sad thing, is that they knew what I had, and they weren't willing to help me. I'm the kind of person where I deal better with encouragement than reprimanding, which I'm sure any average person that they would deal better with that. But you know, when I was diagnosed, I had been fighting the symptoms for 2 years already. So you're born with Tourette's syndrome, but you don't show the symptoms until you're between the ages of 5 and 9. And so my symptoms showed up at age 8, but I wasn't diagnosed till age 10 because doctors just aren't aware of what Tourette's syndrome is. So my doctor said to me, you know, Hayley, I just want to let you know, you may never have control of your body for the rest of your life. It's a possibility. And I looked him in the eyes and I said to him, no. And that's the kind of person I am, is I don't give up. You know, if I want something, I work very, very hard for it. And I pity people who use others because they will never know that amazing feeling of working hard for something and what true success feels like. If you're using other people's success, you don't ever get anything out of it. You don't know what it feels like to get your own. And actually, even though I'm talking about how I was bullied in middle school, it's been years since I've been bullied just because I don't pay attention. If someone's going to say something mean to me, I feel sorry for them. If they have to bring someone down to bring themselves up. But it hurt because last week I was bullied by someone who I considered a friend. And I was sent really, really mean text messages. And, I told you about how I was recently in a car accident. Well, I was going to different appointments, and these mean text messages just kept coming in. And, it reminded me is I always say that I surround myself with positive people, but if I'm going to, have a friend that brings me down and whatnot, then I'd rather not have them as a friend because I have a lot of amazing friends. Actually, a lot of my friends are anti-bully advocates themselves, especially the ones in the industry. I've got these amazing 4 goofballs. I call myself queen of the goofballs around them. They're in this band, Galvanized Souls. And I was being bullied last Monday, and then I get a call from them saying, "Hey, Hayley, I was just wondering, would you MC, host our red carpet anti-bullying event tomorrow night?" And I was already going to be a guest speaker. And they literally, made me smile. It made up for all the bullying, and that's one of the things that really, hit hard is, what? I know who my real friends are. So I just I let it go because, yes, it hurt. I mean, I think it hurts a lot more when you're bullied by someone you're close to because of the betrayal aspect, but I am the happiest that I could be. And, I'm also really good friends with this pop star named Lexi, and she's from Atlanta, Georgia, and she's going to go on a tour in Canada.
Oh, yeah, no, she's going to go there before you are.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. Well, I only just heard today, but apparently she's coming to tour in Canada, and she's a big anti-bully advocate, so.
I'll have to get in touch with her.
Yeah, and I'll definitely help you out. And so I actually created an anti-bullying PSA with Rock Razzie Films and with Galvanized Souls, the band, and with Lexi because I thought, we're all anti-bully advocates, and all 3 of our fan bases know that, and that's what brings us together. But I'm also the type of person where I have a lot of friends outside of the industry as well. Because I like to stay grounded, but I'm just I'm so lucky. I'm friends with singers, with actors, college students. Even some of my friends are still in high school because to me, if you have a good heart and if you can put up with the dorkiness that is me, and if you like to eat because I'm an amazing chef, and if you're my friend, I will cook for you all the time. Then I'll be friends with you. I'm loyal to the core, and I care. To me, friends are family, and my family is my life, and that's just the way I am.
I can completely respect that. Now, with regards to your anti-bullying work, what have you done in the last couple of years?
Okay, well, I originally, when I was 16, I became a Tourette Syndrome ambassador, and I represent the state of California. So I actually went with the Tourette Syndrome Association to Washington, D.C., but just in the last year, I have kind of transformed myself from an ambassador into an anti-bullying advocate because I felt I could reach more people. So when I give my speeches on anti-bullying, I also incorporate Tourette syndrome, so I'm still educating them, but I make it my own story. And so when I'm not on sets, I'm actually going around to schools, and events, just telling my story, which is a story of inspiration and hope. You know, a lot of things have happened. Getting Tourette's, losing my dad, who was my best friend at 17, getting in the car accident where I almost died just this April 21st. But, you know, I never asked for pity because I don't want people's pity. You know, I want to educate them and show them that no matter what life throws at you, as long as you stay positive and, you know, surround yourself with a good support team and good friends, you know, you can get through anything. And, you know, my friends have definitely been there for me just like I am for them. You know, that's another thing is that for me is friendship. You know, just like any collaboration that I do in work, I always feel like it's two ways. And I love that about my friends is, you know, I'm there for them, they're there for me. And that's the way it is in everything I do and I work. So I hosted the first annual Noble Music Showcase, which was a huge success. It was my first event I had ever hosted. And that was this February 1st, and it was to raise money and awareness for an anti-bullying organization called the Great American Noble Challenge. And I think they're actually talking about getting it to other countries. But basically, it's a video challenge where you can make a video that shows, you know, it projects an anti-bullying image, whether it be a PSA or a music video. There's different categories. And it's for ages 13 to 18. And it's a competition, and then the top 15 nominees get flown out to Los Angeles. And so I raised almost $2,000 for them, and you know, I got red carpet people to come, like the stars of Dexter, the stars of the show Community, the Pussycat Doll. You know, I love what I do, and so from then on, I actually recorded an anti-bullying song called Peace and Love and shot the music video for that. It's an anti-bullying song. And then I did a couple of PSAs, some with like the band Galvanized Souls and Legacy that I was talking about, another with Gifted Nations. And then I also, I'm an avid writer, so I write for different anti-bullying blogs and magazines and tell my story. And then most recently for the anti-bullying work, like I said, I just helped MC host the Galvanized Souls anti-bullying music video release party. So that's kind of what I'm doing, but also, you know, I have a kind of a steadily growing fan base of primarily females, young females ages 6 to 16, and they often write to my P.O. box. And, you know, they'll say, look, I'm being bullied. I'm having a hard time making friends. I don't know what to do. Can you give me any advice? And I can tell you this, is I always write back. And I also send them an autographed picture, but I always write back because it's about showing people that you care. And so a lot of the time I'll give the advice to them, and I'll say, you know, what kind of friends are you looking for? Are you going after the popular crowd? Because maybe the best decision to find friends would be to look for someone who's also looking for friends. So maybe someone who's shy or eats alone and doesn't have a lot of friends. Because I will tell you one thing is a lot of times the popular kids already have everything. So you wanting to be their friend is just, I mean, they don't really need that, so they're not going to always be the greatest friend. Whereas someone who's looking for a friend will be an amazing friend. And so the way that I help mentor kids is I Skype with them as well as do phone calls, and is the ways I talk about being positive, because there's no point in holding on to any negativity. When I was 16 and I started to make friends, part of moving on and getting over it, you know, it was giving up my grudge against that teacher and all the kids who ruined my years of 12 and 13. And once I got rid of that anger, then I knew how to channel that energy into something positive and go to Washington, D.C. and make a difference and become the ambassador. And that's kind of what I do is I just try to help kids, you know, turn their life positively.
And that's exactly where you and I connected on a great
Yes.
emotional level. Like our conversation went from just an introduction to all of a sudden we're sharing values, we're sharing beliefs, we're sharing
Mhm.
journeys, and then that's when you mentioned you never been to Canada, and I was completely
I have to
dumbfounded.
go to Canada. I have
Yeah,
to try maple
exactly.
syrup.
And Bodyguard United. What we'll do is we'll bring you to Canada, and then we'll make sure you have the biggest bottle of maple syrup, so you can take some home to your
Oh,
family.
wait. We'll have to get those little travel-sized bottles or
Oh yeah,
something, unless I'm
yeah.
checking luggage, because otherwise the TSA is going to take it. And you know what they're going to do? You know what the TSA is going to do is they're going to take my maple syrup and go home and make pancakes and eat it.
And then you lose out. So yeah, we'll definitely have to look into getting you.
Exactly.
We'll take care of you. I promise you, we will take care of you.
I'm
Now,
very excited. As long as you were just telling me about some festival where you eat fried sushi, as long as you do not make me eat fried sushi, I will come to Canada. Please just do not put fried sushi in front of me. That does
I,
not sound appealing.
I have a feeling that that would be a useless battle on my end.
Oh
So
yes,
don't
considering I
worry.
don't eat fish anyways, and I don't really eat fried food, you would just be like, I would be like, that's so nice, but I'm just really not hungry because I'm
We'll
nice,
go
but
and
just
buy
I
like a.
will. I wouldn't want to say, I'm so sorry, but I'm a vegetarian and I'm kind of also a health nut, so I don't really think I can eat this. I mean, well, if it didn't have fish in it, I'd probably try it to be nice.
All right, how about the deep fried Pop Tarts?
Oh my gosh, you know what? You're gonna send me to Canada and you're gonna make me fat.
You're
That's
gonna
what
go
you're.
back you have a lot more room to hide the maple syrup. So like what I'm trying to do is help you.
Oy vey.
Now, in respects of your acting, how did you start getting into your gigs and moving forward that side of your career?
Well, I started off without a manager, an agent. I still, don't have an agent or anything. But one of the things is I started out modeling and I booked like an As Seen on TV box product. Oh, and get this. It was too kind of like absurd to sell in America. So Canada picked it up and it was in the clearance bin in Canada. And I actually, like I told you, I had a Canadian friend, and they sent me a picture of it and said, "Is this you?" Like I'm in a Walmart or not a or whatever Kmart or some sort of mart, superstore, some store, and I was literally in a red clearance bin, and I responded, "Yes, that's me. I guess it means success when you're in the clearance bin."
Well, what it meant was you actually have been in Canada, but just
I
not the
know.
you want and the way that you want to be. But at least you're here in a clearance bin, and let's
Well,
just
not
say,
anymore. This was like a year ago.
see, so I
I
can't really say
literally
this
went straight to the clearance bin.
straight to the clearance.
And it was not the picture, it was the product, I think. Anyways, well, whatever, okay? Um, sorry, I'm a big jokester.
It's all good. I enjoy.
Anyways, so I got my foot in the door with modeling, but I soon missed acting. I did a year at the University of Laverne, and one of the last things that my dad said to me before he passed away in my senior year of high school when I was 17, and he said, Haley, you need to stop trying to please others and start following your own dreams. And so, I got into the modeling a little bit, and then I just missed acting. And so I went into acting. I joined different submission sites, submitted myself, and then in the first 4 months, I was on CSI Las Vegas. I had shot 6 principal roles in commercials. I was in a Hallmark movie with Shannon Doherty and Antonio Sabeto Jr. They played my aunt and uncle. And what else did I? Oh, I was a guest star on the Lifetime television series Killer Kids. I played Charlotte Schmoyer. I was also a guest star on Hollywood Hillbillies, which is some reality TV show. It was pretty funny being on it. And then, everything just kind of started to pick up this year. I did a few more commercials. I'm about to shoot a big commercial on Thursday. Doing different print ads, anti-bullying work. I'm in talks to do a t-shirt line, which is going to be kind of like vintage rocker t-shirts, but anti-bullying. So it'll have like cool slogans on it, like "I eat mean for breakfast" with like a cool vintage picture of breakfast. But I don't want it to just be some Hanes t-shirt. I want it to be a really good quality something. And so I'm actually collaborating with a designer. I can't say who right now because haven't signed the contract yet, but we're in pre-production of that, so I'm really excited. And also I'm about to be a series regular on the anti-bullying kids TV show Junga and the Dancing Yeti, and we start production in September. And then hopefully that will air by the end of 2015. And it's kind of like the next Barney, but with an anti-bullying theme to it. So the projects that I choose, I love getting to do projects that mean something. Because a lot of my fans are, young and whatnot, I like to be a good role model for them. So you won't see me, posing in Maxim or any of those raunchy magazines. Excuse me if anybody loves them. I have no problem against it. But, I want to show girls that you can still be the good girl and that it's cool. And I mean, I go out, I love to have a good time, but I'm also, in all honesty, my perfect Saturday night is like staying home, baking, and watching a Hallmark movie. That's how boring I am. Maybe it's because I have to go out a lot for work, and I don't usually get to do that, and it's kind of like a relaxing way for me to just have downtime. But I'm a goofball. I'm a dork. My friends call me the Duchess of Dork instead of the Duchess of York. And that's really great because I embrace being a dork, and I think everybody should embrace what makes them them. So if people call me a dork, I'm like, yes, I'm a dork, and I love it. It makes me me.
Well, and it's awesome that you have your downtime and you have your time to cook your gluten-free and bake your gluten-free products.
Okay, that was a disaster today. Can we not go into that?
I'm just saying.
The cookies were a success. The cookies were really good.
As long
I
as
made
a success story.
with dark chocolate chips.
Oh, see now I'm craving a cookie, but
now you're hungry.
Yeah, now I'm very hungry. Like I might have to cut this into short. But you've also said that you know a lot about gluten, which, like I said to you before we started, was I didn't really understand it. So I'm assuming that. You actually, I'm not assuming. You said that you took the gluten-free diet because your Tourette's was starting to act up again ever since your accident. So how did you go about, researching that? Like, did you go through doctors?
Well, like I said before, my everything started to fall in place when I was 16, and that also came about where I ended up being tick-free from my Tourette's. And that was from an accumulation of medication as well as teaching myself reverse psychology. But when I just had the accident, I mean, it's been almost 5 years since I've had a tick, but when I had the accident, a woman ran a stop sign, and she T-boned my car on the driver's side, and I have spinal cord and really, really bad neck damage, and I'm in the chiropractor 3 or 4 times a week, and physical therapy and the neurologist and getting everything. But I mean, all I really have is forgiveness for the woman. But then about 5 days after the accident, my tics came back, and they came back worse than ever. Considering my tics were bad before, where I was barking in church and I had a nun physically yank me out of church for that, it's not a good experience. I came back, and my tics, I had a screeching tic. So I would hold it in all day, and as soon as I got home, I would start screaming, and I couldn't stop. And so I was at a point where, because I've been tick-free for 5 years, I've kind of weaned off my medication. And I didn't really want to go back on medication. I'm over 18 now, so I have the choice. So I decided to do research on, more natural remedies, and I actually found out that gluten is a huge trigger for tics on Tourette's, so it can make them 10 times worse. And there's been multiple scientific studies, as well as different things that different parents have, posted. And I can honestly say it's day 10 of being gluten-free, and it's not very difficult because as a vegetarian, if you weren't raised a vegetarian and then you become a vegetarian, I became a vegetarian when I was 17, you learn how to cut things out of your diet. So the second day of being gluten-free, the screeching stopped. And it's because there is GMO, which is one of the worst things you can have in gluten. And gluten itself is not horrible for you. It's not bad for you. I mean, it's not something, unless you're like celiac, where you're allergic to gluten. But, not eating a whole bunch of gluten is actually more beneficial than constantly eating gluten because you're just putting GMO in you. So I, tried the gluten-free, and as soon as the screeching stopped, I can honestly say my mother was completely on board. She was like, I don't care. Well, I buy my own groceries anyways, because, at almost 21, I support myself financially. I pay my insurance, my gas, my rent, my groceries. I pay for everything because, I don't have a dad that can help. And my mom's a school teacher, and so she actually gave me a little bit of money for groceries because gluten-free stuff is so expensive, because she was so on board. So, I don't think that I'll be gluten-free forever. But, just at least for the summer, I'm staying gluten-free. And, not everything works for everybody, but I can honestly say that giving up gluten has really helped me and helped change my life for the better.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that, because when I first heard about your situation and how you got in the accident, I was like, oh no, like, you were just moving forward, you're doing so good, and then boom. But then you had
I also have a broken foot, so I had a big boot cast, and that wasn't helping my back either because I was limping in the boot cast.
I didn't hear about that part, so yeah, that makes it even more worse.
Yeah.
So
but,
how can you get a hold of you? Well, as long as you're doing good now, right? As long as
I'm in a really good place.
You're grounded.
Yeah.
Grounded. You're leveled. You're doing very well. So, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best route for you? Can they go right to your official website?
Yeah.
And on the website, you have like all your social media contacts right there.
It has all my social media on it. My website is HayleyElizabethGripp.com. So HayleyElizabeth Gripp, GRIPP.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Hayley Gripp, Facebook at actress Hayley Gripp, Instagram HayleyGripp_official, and on my website it also has the PO box if people want to send letters. I always give anti-bullying advice, and I just aim to aspire and bring good into the world. I can say with a straight face that my greatest aspiration is to bring good into the world, and I just want to help as many people as I can.
Well, most definitely, and like I said, we will definitely. What my process here with this interview is going to be simple. Is I'm going to post it on my networks on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, which I just added you on because I found you there, which is an amazing service, by the way. I love LinkedIn. So yeah, what I do is I'm going to forward it to my local media. I'm going to forward it to my friends who are higher up in the media, and we're going to get you here in Canada. And what I'm hoping to do is have you come speak with Boddyguards United, so that way.
I would love that.
It's what we look for, and what our aspirations is exactly what you just said. So it's like a natural circle of karma.
Yeah, and maybe we can get it to the point where when my friend, who's the anti-bully advocate, when she goes on tour in Canada, and I've actually, when she came to California, she actually came and performed. She has a hit anti-bullying song called "Okay," and I'll send you the link to it.
Of course.
And she performed the song, and I gave my speech. And I mean, I think it would be great if we could team up with her while she's in Canada, if that works for her schedule. I mean, that would be definitely fun.
I will even give her a Bodyguards United shirt that she can wear whenever she
Wait,
wants.
okay, you saying you're giving her one, but you didn't give me one yet. I'm just kidding.
I see what I see what I just did there. I immediately just like cut you off, and what I could do is I will send you one to either PO box, or you can feel free to go on the website, and you can even custom text your own hoodie or custom text your own shirt.
Really?
Yeah, I made
awesome.
all of the products custom text. Right now it says hashtag believe in BU, but you can change the text to whatever you want to change it to. You can change it to Hayley, or actually, what we could do for you is we can actually make it hashtag Hayley Canadian Tour, and that way it can bring you more exposure and more.
Yeah, let's do it! Yay!
So, yeah, you can feel free to go on there and just do what you want to do with it, and then I can even email you and send you the logo if you want.
That would be great.
Yeah, I can send you the logo, and you can go to like your nearest print shop and do your own T-shirt. That way, it costs.
And maybe you could, send me directions of exactly what I'm supposed to do, because I'm not super.
Noted.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. We'll help each other out, and like I said,
Great.
the intent with you in this interview was to help you get awareness here in Canada and help you get exposed.
Thank you. I love Canada. I've always wanted to go. That's on my bucket list.
Well, and so is Canadian maple syrup, so you can do two.
Yes, Canadian maple syrup. They have it at Whole Foods, but I don't know if you know what Whole Foods is. It's like a market. Canadian. It's like a health foods market. But, I think that it would be better to get it from Canada instead of from a market and it says Canadian.
You know what would even better than that is if I was able to accompany you in your tour, and I'll take you to a part of Canada where you can actually get the maple syrup from the tree.
No, that's just awesome.
Because that is a liable option. You can get it right from the tree. You can use your own hands and pour the exact amount you want. That'd probably be the most idealistic opportunity for you. Look at you! You can't even sit still. You're so excited. You're like, oh, Canadian tour.
I'm really excited. That and the ADHD.
What's right? Oh yeah, ADHD. That is correct.
Well, I'm also really excited. So you got that right on the bat. But yeah.
I figured that we have a good chemistry because I have ADD, you have ADHD, so I'm actually pretty impressed that we actually stayed afloat. Like, we actually stayed on topic.
Oh, yeah. We both like to talk. I'm sure anybody who's going to be around us is going to go crazy in a good way, I think, because we'll just talk up a storm.
I think
we'll have to surround ourselves with shy people.
I actually do that on purpose. Claudia will tell you, my girlfriend will tell you, if someone's nervous around me, I thrive. I get excited to break that nervousness and that shyness and bring them out. So, in a way, as a tag team, we can either cause a lot of good or cause a lot of bad, but we'll figure it out.
I like to cause good.
So do I, but however, sometimes we do have some instances where it's a mistake and you realize, okay, that person's really shy and I made them feel uncomfortable. But then I forget about the ADD.
Usually I just become the icebreaker and I help them out of their shell. Sometimes my friends will end up being shy, and then after they're my friend, they're super outgoing. There
you go. Inspiration.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanted to just thank you so much for having me on the Autopsy.
Hashtag.
Autopsy.
Have you ever seen that Jimmy Fallon episode where him and Seth Rogen, or not Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill make fun of the hashtag? You gotta hashtag it.
Wow.
Yeah, so you hashtag.
I did see the mean tweets, and I can say that they were so funny, but I felt so bad.
Yeah, I watched the mean tweets.
I don't understand mean people. What's the point of being mean? I mean, I don't really understand it. I'm more of a dork where I'll just randomly go into a British accent like, hello, I can talk in a British accent. It's really not that difficult. You just kind of have to hold your tongue down just a little bit when you're talking, and you just do it like that. Even my daddy used to say it was pretty good.
Have you ever seen the movie Resident Evil?
No.
No, you should, because you sound like the little angry child that was trying to kill everyone. That's how you sound right there. You just immediately.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's just absolutely wonderful, astounding. Thank you. Yeah. I really, really appreciate that.
Watch it. You'll see, and you'll love it. You probably even YouTube the 2-minute clip.
Yeah.
But you have to work in the morning. Oh, what did I just do?
I
Do you
do. I have a very early call time.
Oh, very early call time. So, do you have any upcoming events that you wish to plug and promote right now before we end this?
Yeah,
Hotspot.
I'm actually going to be a runway model at the Cream and White Affair on uh, August 10th, and then I'm going to be an anti-bullying guest speaker on September 13th at a women's conference, and then I've got, the T-shirt line coming up, which I will definitely tell you more about when it's coming out.
Mhm.
I'm shooting a big commercial on Thursday, which can't say what it's about, but yeah. So I've got a lot of things in the works, but I just live every day with no regrets and try to spread good and anti-bullying awareness into the world. To impact someone's life is the greatest gift that I can give.
Oh, most definitely. And I agree 100% with you. And that's why I do what I do, and that's why I love what you do. So, thank you so much for your time, Haley.
Thank
We,
you.
I think we have a good friendship going here. I promised you a lot of
Definitely.
things that I think I'm worth keeping. So, thanks again for your time. And once again, I love the headband. It's adorable. It's
Thank
extremely
you. I'm kind of
adorable.
a flower child, hippie, go with the flow. I like to cook barefoot type thing.
Maybe you should wear socks next time you cook. You won't burn your baking stuff. So wear socks.
How that doesn't make sense. If
Change it up a
you're just
little bit.
confusing me. You're giving me mind challenges that are confusing.
I am. Well, I do what I can. So on that note, now that I made you confused and aggravated, I'm going to let you go and let you
Okay.
handle that the way you handle it. But thank you for your time, and I will for sure help you become acquainted with a lot of Canadian fans out here, so we can help you bring more of
Thank you.
a movement. All right.
Thank you. I
Hashtag,
appreciate it. Have a
hashtag Haley Canadian Tour.
yes. Okay. Have a wonderful evening.
As well.
Bye.